I'm gonna start that over. Hello viewers. Today you catch me at my most cunty brackets negative, as I have to decide, due to the sun, whether I wear sunglasses and a cravat on camera. I have been a short-term adopter of the cravat because, like most of you, I do think it is the sign of the bell end. But I watched this movie called J. Kelly, and your man Adam Sandler, sartorial legend Adam Sandler, wears one very casually on top of a tie, and I'm trying to do that. I'm preparing to do that for an Ibiza wedding, but so I'm currently preparing to do that by just kind of practice wearing it out. So, because you can't let the cravat wear you sort of have to wear the cravat. You know what I mean? It's we also tragically are filming this in the most public space, and you can enjoy my mid-morning ritual, which is that I got into work a little earlier than normal, and I am allowed a contractual commute time to just kind of sit and enjoy the weather. This is actually my second coffee of the day. I had a coffee earlier. I had an oat flat white, and this is a long black, so we are hurtling towards Scratchy Throat Central any second now. I do feel weirdly protected by the sunglasses, though. I think that song by Black Country New Road was correct about that. They really tapped into something there. Anywho, today's an exciting day for me because later I have a split bill planned with the wonderful and talented Ruby Carr. So it will be nice to finally run through some ideas and try some new bits and see if the 10 people that came like them or if there's anything in them. Oh, that's good coffee. That is good coffee. But I figured I should get some of the more unhinged thoughts out the way here, just so I can express them and then figure out if there's anything in them later. So that's basically what today's episode is about. I think the first thing, and this is probably the most discoursey, and the reason I'm putting it here to be on the interwebs is because it probably can't translate to stage. But I think we need a clavicular for women, but like a reverse clavicular for women. Because I think everyone knows that women have to maintain that standard of beauty just to be considered people and to be given agency and things like that. And clavicular has sort of invented the male insecurity sort of epidemic, where it's like, you know, he's smashing his face up. He's doing it in cartoonish ways. He's doing it in very bro-y ways, but essentially is now the lightning rod for an entire generation of men's insecurities. And he's looks maxing, so I believe we need to have one for women where it looks minning. I don't know. We'll figure out the branding later, but the I don't know if you call it ugly maxing or something. I think we just need to bring back ugly. I think like you get points for mogging the moids. Oh god, I hate this stuff so much. If I start breaking down the actual logistics of the wording, I hate it. But women are expected to be beautiful and have the insecurities that clavicular has naturally with surgeries and things like that. So why not? I think it would be very important and good if you had a reverse one where you had to be as ugly as humanly possible, not, you know, performing or doing any of that stuff, and see who you are just by your shit. If you see how many people you can scare off, you're trying to scare the hoes with looks minimizing, and you're just walking around literally. And when I say ugly, I don't mean like, oh my god, like you're so beautiful without makeup. I mean like embrace a guttural kind of horrific screaming in the streets kind of thing. Because I think because you think about, you know, the height of beauty standards for women now. What do you actually get out of it? What do you get back from it? Like you become Sydney Sweeney, right, and become this bizarre political talking point for right wingers to talk and get so much projected onto you. So like, there's nothing to gain from it. So I'm just frankly also wider point. Bring back ugly. Just bring back ugly. We don't need. We are all. everyone thinks they're fashion people now. Everyone thinks that you see an ad for like, Rustler's Burgers, and it's got some, sharp-faced fella in a nice pair of bootcut jeans or something. You're like, guys, we don't need this. We don't need to do this. It's Rustlers. We can be a little like, you remember bands like Pavement and the older stuff where they weren't trying. They were just throwing on whatever and they made it work. We need to bring that back. Not me, but someone. We as a society needs to bring it back. And just like remember what it's like to actually live in the world, basically. I think we've created this, Instagram has kind of created this unreality where we assume everyone can be well lit and can be very, very and moisturized and stuff. Although I'm realizing that is my morning routine. But yeah, so that's the first thing, I think. Female reverse clavicular for women. And also, frankly, I'm just going to get this out of my system because it's already out of date. But so this new Spider-Man trailer came out, and I'm a Spider-Man fan. I love Spider-Man. He's the guy. He's the superhero. He's fabulous. But the way they released this trailer was in kind of 3-second increments that they leaked or something. So you sort of see these, and what we really saw was these fan accounts, these movie fan accounts, which are barely fan accounts. They're basically like half a guy's failed memory of a movie, and not even a movie. It's literally just either The Dark Knight or Avengers Endgame. And you saw them all go into this frenzy of like, oh my god, we've got 19 parts of the trailer. We need to piece together the 20th. We're all part of it. And it's like, guys, like, just wait for the trailer. Like, there's not gonna be any real spoilers. You're not gonna get ahead of it. It's this weird, like, smarter than thou thing with comic book coverage or something, or superhero movies. I don't know what it is, but it was just like, just the worst. It was loops within loops, and you just know tons of trailers are going to try and do that now and try and create buzz just by, like, doing the fucking we've decided to cut up our trailer, like, and you can watch it like YouTube Shorts. Like, what? No, just give me the trailer. I like trailers. It's like when now trailers tell you when there's like the trailer starts in 5, 4, and it's like, dude, just do that. I clicked on the trailer for a reason. You're a teaser trailer. This is a minute-long trailer. You don't need to prep. You don't need to tell me where I am all the time. It's like, hi, welcome to the first teaser. Oh, welcome to the full trailer. Now, welcome to the final official cinematic trailer. And it's just like, guys, the trailer is not the movie. Or maybe it is. Maybe I actually watch more trailers than I do actual movies. That's why I don't like to say I'm a movie guy, because I watch more trailers than movies. And I don't even really like trailers. I just like the teaser trailers. And I try and tap out then, but I just, you want to see how it goes. But these accounts, like, just don't make any sense. Like, you have these, they're just like AI generated adjacent, where it's like just making up improvised moments in film, which just didn't happen. They just didn't happen. And it's just like, wow, you can see the look in her eyes, looking for the director for safety, but it's in, like, Trolls World Tour. And you're like, I just don't think that's true. And I don't think you've even remotely thought about how movies work or how we make movies even. It's like, wow, the cameraman just tripped and fell and switched on the camera, and a mic fell like a perfect Wallace and Gromit moment, teetering on the edge, and got the perfect sound. And it's like, movies aren't just everybody going crazy on camera. What you're thinking of is the circus. You're thinking of the circus. So that's my sort of thing with, also, like, there's a movie thing you have sometimes when people have a thing. People walking by makes you so nervous. It's so weird, but I've got to do it. You got to do it. If this is what you're gonna do, you got to do it. Which fake? Yeah, they make up all these fake accounts, and then also they just, like, people just. I think what it is that everyone wants to pretend they're a movie expert because we're all watching movies all the time. Big screen, small screen, cardboard box. Like, we're all just constantly watching telly and films. So I think people feel bad about that, and then are like, I need to get something out of this. Let me create an account called Covered Geekly, talking about the latest superhero releases. They don't even do the work of like doing the nerd stuff. They just like the movies. It's Covered Geekly? What does that mean? How can you cover something geekly? I covered it like a geek. I watched Dweebly. I nerd cut me and I bleed nerd. Like it doesn't track. The man in the cravat weighs in on the current state of cinema criticism. I'm like the guy from Ratatouille. As soon as the June 3 trailer hits, I remember it was like as a child, and it took me back to the pure joy of it. It just doesn't. I think it just doesn't make sense. And also, like, I think I get where the kind of faux intellectualism comes from, because I've dabbled in being a stoner before. I used to live with film student stoners, so I would say I've seen the first third of most films. No idea how they end, but certainly had the energy of the first part of it. Would love to know how most of Godard's films end, but I it's simply too late for me. It's simply too late. You know what? It really feels like living when you walk in at 7 p.m. after work and catch the middle section of Suspiria. Although, to be fair, Suspiria, you can kind of do a choose your own adventure. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure ending anyway, you know? That movie just kind of runs out of steam. It's just like, well, all of that happened, but we can't live on vibes alone. Don't get me wrong, I love that movie. And that's my own intellectual insecurity jumping out, right? Because I need you to know that I've seen it and that my opinion is still valid, even though it's not. So you might not have noticed, but I snuck in the building blocks of other bits there to test out for later. I keep thinking about this one thing as well. I don't really know if it's a bit or not, but my friend told me about, they were watching a nature documentary and the classic kind of scene happened it wasn't a David Attenborough. It was one of those knockoff ones where these hacks, these cynics, think they can replace David Attenborough with one of our fine Shakespearean thespians. But Eddie Redmayne does not an Attenborough make. That's when you know they ran out of stuff. Really, we all just want Ian McKellen to do it. And God bless him, rest in peace. But John Hurt could carry a show. He could carry a show. At a push, Cumberbatch, but we're like, what are you doing this for, man? What are you doing this and Penguins of Madagascar for? You're in everything. You can just mellow out. You can just hang, dude. Don't worry about it. I did find myself forgiving Benedict Cumberbatch a while ago, because I watched a ton of his other films, and I was like, oh, you're actually like really good. I don't know why. I think I just had leftover resentment from just wasting our time with Sherlock, you know. But I watched the Power of the Dog. He's great in, and The Electric Life of Louis Wayne. He's great in, and that Wes Anderson thing he did, that short film he did, was pretty good too. So you got to give it up. Anyway, it was one of those ones. It was one of those like lesser knockoff Attenboroughs, basically. But they were watching it. My friend was watching it, and they could see the classic scene of the lion hunting the gazelle, you know, and you know, fake Stephen Hawking comes on. He's like, oh, wow. No, he's like, the gazelle. How does Eddie Redmayne even sound? Oh, the gazelle. Oh. Anyway, probably sounds exactly like me. I wonder if you can tell when the coffee hit halfway through this recording. Anyway, but he sees the gazelle come up, and the lion's beginning to hunt the gazelle. It's like the proud lion moving through to circle his prey. My friend said you could tell they were two shots that they weren't even in the same vicinity. it was like the gazelle was hunting, but the gazelle was here like up a tree, and then it's like the lion made his move, and the lion's like warning, and in a complete, it's like nighttime, cuts back to the gazelle, and it's just like a pigeon walking around trying to get bread. Like what? I think it must be just like with the climate crisis. It's just like we can't make those anymore. It used to be you get Attenborough Con at the end and be like, "No, guys, for real, we need to save this. All this stuff. You like these shows? We can't make them anymore." And we realized that we had to do that, but they couldn't. The demands to keep making them, despite the climate crisis, kept happening. So they were just like, "Yeah, we gotta just kind of." We gotta fake it. We gotta fake some drama. They essentially became like reality show producers, where they had some footage of a lion, and they had some footage of a gazelle. You can imagine them kind of ADRing the roaring in, like, and like gazelle's footprints running, and like stuff like that. Of just like really, come on, gotta get it. It's like. They get it back to the director and they're like, guys, this isn't even a chase fucking at all. What were you doing out there? And it's just like, well, come on, dude, what do you want from us? There shouldn't even be lions in the Arctic. That's how melted it is. It's like the Serengeti now. I don't know if that's true. Big shout out to Hermanos Coffee, who just kind of let you hang here. I work upstairs, so I don't know. I've never come here as a patron, just because it was downstairs, basically. It's still on. We're good. I am excited for the show later. I've been sort of up and down. I've had some very inspiring... I feel very inspired recently. There's just been really good, inspiring comedians out here, which is nice, because I was kind of going through some doubt with this new show I'm trying to write. But half hour, it's pretty cash. Like, you just do the bits, see if the bits work, and then we'll piece together a show from them. That's kind of the methodology. I would hate for it not to be funny, you know what I mean? Like, you want it to be funny because it's a comedy show. I don't know if you know about comedy. It's a comedy show. It's supposed to be funny. The wankeriness really has jumped off in this episode. I also because this is just before I get to work, I was picturing, I don't know how sad it would be if I'm suddenly if I get into work and just sadly take off the cravat. But now I'm like, if I write it in, I've got to just finish the job. Like, you said you wanted to do it. And that's for all the menswear guys out there. You gotta just put that shit on and see what happens. You can always regret it later. God knows I've regretted looks. Believe it or not, I used to have bleach blonde hair. Real Draco Malfoy situation. And at the time, I thought it was so cool and choppy and stuff. But it was mainly because everyone in my uni was dyeing their hair because they were all having nervous breakdowns. And then we all shaved our heads at the same time because we got better, I guess. And I look back at them now and it's like, wow, that was terrible. But I still stand by. I stood by it at the time, and it felt good at the time. Rihanna was the big inspiration with that. Rihanna just looks different all the time, or did look different all the time. But then she vanished. She ran out of looks, so she vanished. Stuck with pregnant for a while. Hope she's okay. Sorry about that gunman that happened. That's scary stuff. But yeah, Rihanna was the big inspo. You can't just look different all the time. You have free will. Today I'm going for a kind of it's essentially like if the guy from Jurassic Park didn't have any skill set and used his various pockets for different Skittles. I can kind of go through the different pockets on my trousers and on my jackets, just being like, okay, so this one, classic Skittles, obviously. Then we've got the big Skittles. Then we got those all white, colorless Skittles that they made for Pride. I don't know if you remember they had these limited edition Skittles they made for Pride Month, where they They were like, the only rainbow should be on the flag, which is a great idea on paper, but just made them so unappealing. My God. White Skittles, God. It was less pride and more white power a little bit. It's not their fault. Not their fault. When you're eschewing close to the food that they would have in Blade Runner, that's when you know you're multi-level marketing too close to the sun. So I'm trying to think of any other bits that I didn't think would work. I mean, there's a ton. But and I won't reveal it now, but I'm working on this bit about fake Drake, a Drake impersonator from 2022, that if I can pull it off will be my magnum opus in comedy. It's all I care about in comedy. And listen, I've been doing comedy now for about 7 years. 7 years, yeah. And I could really quit at any point. There's really nothing keeping me doing it. But what you need to find is the smallest. I was thinking like years down the line, I did not nail that fake Drake bit. If that still haunted me, that I couldn't turn that alchemy-like into a bit that resonates with the 40s to 60-year-olds, then I will have failed on an artistic level. This isn't for clout, this isn't for fame, this is for expressing my own a need for a bit about this fake Drake impersonator who challenged Drake to a fight and ended up having to fight some random streamer, and did it all. Live basically the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, but for the iPhone generation. And if I can't translate that and bring that story to the people, I will have failed as an artist. And on that cliffhanger, our first cliffhanger of your next Village Idiot, I will leave you there, as there are some chopped up croissants that I need to go eat upstairs, and maybe some cheese too. Have a beautiful rest of your morning. Bye.